Torres Warrior here, and welcome to Rage Talk 6. Because I want this video to come out when it's still relevant, there will not be an animation this time, but I will put in some raid footage here for you to watch. This is from the Looking for Raid, which I'll talk about. First thing in the new patch, new dungeons. The new dungeons drop 378 gear. That is the equivalent to normal mode Firelands. So if you're in normal mode Firelands and you want some offset pieces or maybe some different pieces, I would check it out. If you didn't get a chance to get into Firelands, this is a great chance to get caught up. You can go into those dungeons, get the 378 gear. The LFR, or Looking for Raid, is out, and a lot of people were concerned about this. Some people were concerned to be too easy. I don't see why they would be concerned about that. It is easy mode. Like, they added a third difficulty to WoW, which they've needed for a while for raiding. There's now easy, medium, and hard, basically. And I don't see why people would complain about an easy mode. I mean, maybe they don't want people who aren't as good as them getting the same gear, but it's not the same gear. It's actually a lower item level. It is 384, and the normal mode is 397, I believe. And then the heroic stuff is 410. So it's not the same gear, and it still is a lot of fun, and you can go right in there on your alts and everything like that if you don't need it. If you are in heroic Firelands gear, it is a higher item level, and there's no need to run the dungeon finder unless you want to help out some friends or maybe get some offset pieces. Some people were concerned that it would be too difficult for a completely random group of strangers to figure out. They are tuned properly, meaning that it is still a bit challenging for the groups. There is some communication that's necessary there, but it is definitely easy enough to run through with a group of random strangers, because I have done it 4 times now, so I can tell you from my personal experience that it is doable. Also, transmogrification, I think is how you say it, and void storage are out. Void storage is just a more expensive, more permanent banking system that I'm probably not going to use. Maybe I'll toss some of my old weapons in there. I keep a lot of weapons. I never throw weapons out. And transmogrification is just makes one piece of gear look like another piece of gear. So you see I have my Ice Crown gear on here, but it is actually my Firelands gear, and it tells you what it's transmogrified to. Which is cool, adds a lot of spice to the game. People can look the way they want to look and aren't constrained by just using the best gear with the best stats. I still don't think it should be activated for rated BGs or rated PvP, just because a lot of people recognize the gear, but it's not the end of the world. Now, as far as actual gameplay changes for warriors, they did change the 10% attack power bonus buff that some classes give, like hunters and DKs, blood DKs, I think it's just blood DKs. So that 10% attack power buff is now a 10% ranged attack power and 20% melee attack power. So that's going to be a pretty nice bonus for us. But to counter that, they did nerf our mastery, not the mastery stat, but if you look at the mastery here, the dual wield specialization no longer gives a 5% to all melee damage bonus. They pretty much balance out. I think probably even came out a little bit on top out of this one. On top of the fact that even if we did get nerfed, warriors usually scale a bit more with gear than most other classes. So with the new Dragon Soul raid gear, we should be fine on damage. Also, they buffed Mortal Strike, or the Mortal Strike debuff is now a 25% healing reduction, as well as Furious Attacks from Fury is also 25% healing reduction. It used to be 50%, then it became basically mandatory for rated PvP, so they knocked it all the way down to 10%, which was almost unnoticeable, and I think it's sitting in a nice place now at 25%. So it's noticeable, but not the end of the world if you don't have it. And of course, they came up with the new raid. The Dragon Soul is out. That's where you fight all these other little things, and then you fight Deathwing twice at the end, 8 bosses. I will be going there today later. Also, I will be live streaming that. I've gotten a few requests to live stream. I've got it all sorted out. It's all set up to go. So tonight it will happen, and that will be 5:15 p.m. on the west coast of the United States. But all of that is just trivial changes compared to the most important thing they've changed in this patch, and the most important thing they've changed for a while now, and that is, for those of you who didn't know, charge has been bugged forever, where you would charge someone, and if they would jump and run away from you at the same time, they would land like over here, and you would be still back here where they were when you started the charge, and they can just run away, and you can't even piercing hail or anything, and you can never catch them. They did fix that. It does move you to the proper place now, so you are in range of them for your first global after charging, which is, I think, a lot bigger of a buff than people realize. I mean, if I had to count the number of arena matches where I got charge jumped like that, it'd probably be more times than I haven't gotten charge jumped. And I can think of many specific times where I've actually lost an arena match because my charge was jumped. So turning those losses into wins, possibly, it's going to make a big difference. And I think it's a lot bigger of a bonus than a lot of people realize. That's pretty much everything that came out in 4.3. Again, if you want to catch the live stream, it is Twitch TV/Torage_warrior. Just look for me on there, and just feel free to follow if you like the stream. If people show up and people like it, I'll start streaming all my raids. My schedule is usually Thursday, Friday, Sunday, and yeah. So I'll see you there. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe.